Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much for getting time to attend this session. My name is Mzee Awuor from Kisii University in Kenya. My presentation is on transparency in loyalty payments in music streaming platforms. The overview of the presentation, I would look at the problem of loyalty payments in the music streaming platforms, drive the research objective, and of course, come up with some solution and of course, design of the solution, and then we'll try to look at some discussion on and way forward, of course, and conclusion. So music is important. We all love music. We enjoy music for whatever reason, whether we are grieving, whether we are celebrating, whether we are clubbing, whether you're trying to sleep or you're doing workout. We all love music, and music has music traverses regions and culture and has attract audience and brings us together and make us belong. We would call radio stations and ask them for favorite music, or you'd walk into the music store and just buy a CD or a DVD and come and listen to favorite music, and you'd imagine that the musicians were able to get some some reward or some money by you buying their music or you requesting for their songs. But then unscrupulous music businessmen also came up with their own ways of pirating this music that make such that they're able to distribute this music illegally and sell them cheaply to the public, and so the public would not really be concerned about buying the original music. And in a county such as Kenya, the government has come up with an authority called Kenya Music Copyright Board, and this basically tries to promote this local music, try to ensure that they're played in the local radio stations and TV stations, and that even the clubs and all that they're playing them, actually making some alliances to play this music, so that at least these people are going for the original music, and that the owners of this music or the producers or the musicians can get some sort of payment. But then you notice that there are emergent forms of streaming music. You can always subscribe to some pay-based station or channel, like for example Spotify, and enjoy music, or you could just stream freely on YouTube or Facebook or something like that. And so with all these new ways of accessing music, there's a few challenges that comes on board. These musicians still need to be paid. So how are they getting paid? If you think of Facebook, then maybe you'd argue that the musician would upload his music there to attract some following, and then these followers can then be used as a marketing, for marketing, and there he could also get earn some little money, and while he's also promoting his popularity. And the argument could be as fast as you could imagine. However, if you were to imagine about the pay-based channels, then the loyalty payment that these guys, that the musicians really get, would not necessarily be equivalent to the amount of listening or viewership that was experienced that given music. And this basically is due to limited access or inaccessibility to this data that of listening or the viewership. And so the aspect or the core idea in this paper is the question of how can we guarantee transparency and fairness in loyalty payment by having these musicians able to access the listening or the viewership of their music. How can they access this data? And so the desire is basically to have data which is undisputable about the listenings of these songs, that has to do with the user listening patterns, be the duration of listening, which sessions are playing their songs, and of course, and as much as you could imagine, that anything about the listening ship that could be useful in building, in deriving the loyalty payment calculations. And so the ideal tool to use would be distributed ledger, because the blockchain comes with the advantage of inherent transparency and trust built in, and also it has tamper-proof, and is decentralized. So it means that not anybody in the network can really tamper with these records unless the consensus, unless by consensus, like the entire, at least 51% of the population of the users in this network agree that that record may need to be changed. And to this end, then you're proposing blockchain in our music streaming platform. That the core advantage of this just to create some visibility, in the usage, in the calculation of the loyalty. And so this is achievable because so long as all these users, that is the music owner, the music lover, or the music listener, that is, and the music streaming service provider, are all looped into one platform, then it means that they can all, be members and create and commit to the records therein. Then it then means that any record that is created by one user is always visible to all other users, and we just need to ensure that these records are automatically created and updated. And of course, we need to have some assumptions. This kind of a system that you're proposing, are you assuming that the music, ownership can always be validated, and that the users are having a public-private key to be able to uniquely generate hash functions or hash values that they're able to sign these records. So the design of this solution is that it's built on just records, the listening record, the song listening record, and of course the listening summary record. And that becomes very useful, particularly to ensure that each of the records, that, for example, the entire listening of a given song are all captured in the listener's listening record. So coming to the bigger structure or the bigger design, the bigger picture, we basically have, so for example, the music listener, music lover is here, the listener. So let's say that this listener one plays song 1, then song 2, then song 3, then song 4. So all the songs that is streaming at its end are all captured, or a copy of the same is automatically made in the platform. And then also each song, let's say song 1 has had a listener from lover 1, music lover 2, music lover 3. So all that is also captured in so as the music lovers are streaming the songs, the data on which songs they're playing at user level is captured, and also at song level, which song is played by which user is also captured here, and that is shared with the music owner, just to know who are listening to his songs. And so these records are then chained using cryptographic hash function, which is generated using the private key of these music lovers, so that this record is hash chained to this the record, and this record is chained to the record. And that would mean then that if there's any tampering with, let's say, this record, then all the subsequent records definitely will be tampered, because this record affects how this is built, and affects this actually how this one is built. And so that is the basic idea here. And so with this, with all these records being available, from the being available, the record of the listening, the record of the songs played, being available to the music lover or the music listener, and to the music owner, and to the platform, then in that permissioned blockchain, then it means basically that everybody else in the network have the records, and so we can all this automatically transparency, a data that you can use to counter check the payments of the loyalty, because it's that record of listening that informs how the loyalty is derived as. And so that also helps us to avoid the overcharging of the music lovers, so they don't have to pay for what they've not consumed, and that we're also able to cut down on the middlemen that forms a link between the music lover and the music owner. Um, this framework or this design assumed a couple of stuff that we may need to explore. One is the designing for privacy. We assumed here that that the music lover, the music owner would not really mind if their data about listening is all available online, is available for the public or available for everybody who is permission in this blockchain, which may not actually be the same, be true. And there is also assumption that music which are uploaded by the music owners, but that's not really the case. People can always one be not only the legitimate owners of the music that they're uploading, just for sake of getting the payment. So there's a need that we create a way to validate the ownership and copyright of these music items. And of course, this you'd imagine that if you're having a number of if this if in a day music love one could play, let's say how many songs, I don't know, can it say 50 songs in a day or 100 songs in a day, then how much could he play in a year? So you want to imagine with me that as the number of songs played, as more songs are being played by this user, this chain will only get longer. So then there's a need then to check on the computational cost in this list. How do you keep it just long enough to be able to cut down on the cost of computation? So that's something that's really what exploration. Currently working on the proof of concept for this solution, and you're hoping to share that with the search community in the near soon. So in conclusion, basically ours was to create some transparency and fairness in how loyalty payments are calculated, and then also to put the music owners right in the center, just to be able to appreciate them for the beautiful music that they keep producing and they keep giving us. And so the beautiful tool that could have used for this is basically blockchain. And so that has been the discussion that I've presented. So to that end, I want to say thank you so much for listening and for joining this session. I welcome questions and comments. Reach out to me on my email. It's available on the screen. And I hope I'll be able to respond. Thank you so much. Keep well.